And let's get the webcam on. So I had issues last stream with my webcam, so I switched it out for an old one. So at least now it doesn't get like a humongous frame drops. The quality is a bit worse, but it works. Yeah, final episode of RosFuscator. Freaking finally, hashtag about time, right? So the script for today is, the script for today is to sort of recap the parts, what we've done so far. I'm gonna show you the finished results. Spoiler alert, I have been working a bit off stream to get to this point, just because I have to. Then I'll go through the code, we'll add some final input arguments, probably do some comments, probably some cleanup, and then we'll push it, that it's to be released. And besides, well, I guess we'll talk more in depth about this later. But besides the speed, this could be really useful for, your offensive CDI pipelines if you have a lot of tools, or C# tools, that is, C# tools that you would like to obfuscate or apply custom obfuscation to before compiling. Then this would be something you could use, right? So I just made myself a coffee. It's only 9 p.m. Who sleeps? Who needs that? So I'll guess we just jump right into it. So I think I talked about this last stream, but by far the most complicated or the most time-consuming problem in this sort of series has been getting the proper freaking dependencies and stuff for RosFuscator, or for Roslyn, that is. So I'll go through the code I ended up using, starting at main, of course, if I can find it. There we go, main. So I borrowed some code from this Stack Overflow thread. That thread basically helped me getting something called MS Build Workspace up and running. So what I do is that I query for MS Build instances, and then I register an MS Build default using MS Build Locator, which is a package. This is so my C# application knows where your MS Build binary is and where the dependencies is that we need to parse solutions. And after we do that, we show the beautiful ASCII art, and then we start working. So this is also something I stole from a gist. So there's this guy who made progress bar code. So you can have like a progress bar in your console applications for C#. So I stole that, and we're going to be implementing that today as well. I just threw in the the example code here for reference. So just ignore that for now. And then right now we just parsed in the solution path. We create a new MS Build workspace. We open that solution. We pick our projects, right? Because the solution can have multiple projects, and then we pick out the documents from that project. So we go through each document, and then we basically pick that document apart. We look for class declarations. So classes. If there is no class within the document, we don't want to handle it. If there is a class there, we want to handle it. And then we have some semi-hacky, sketchy method of injecting our encryption, XOR encryption, decryption function that we need for string obfuscation. So basically we check that, this is sort of a trigger to make sure we don't recheck for main every time we parse the document. But initially we parse the document into raw text, we split it by new line, we go through each line, and we look for the main name, which C# console application or general application has to start with main, unless it's a library. We look for that main line, and then this basically just injects our XOR encrypt decrypt source code, which is a standard C# function for encrypting and decrypting data using XOR, so XORing. The main benefit of XORing being that we can use the same function for decrypting and encryption. Then we basically inject that, we parse it back into Roslyn, and it's all good. This only happens one time, again due to this mainline trigger. A bit hacky, but it works. So after we run the class that contains the main method, that doesn't run anymore. But for each class, anyhow, we create something called a C# obfuscator class. and then we overwrote what's called the visit function within the syntax node class. So this is a function that allows us to parse every syntax node. A syntax node is basically something in a class. So if I declare string, that's a syntax node. If I create a function, if I have a method or function constructor, that's a syntax node. It's basically Roslin's way of splitting whatever's in the class into objects. Everything in the class is a syntax node. And then I basically take a look at the syntax node, what type of syntax node is this? If it's a string literal expression, meaning it's an expression that has some sort of string element in it, could be a variable declaration, could be console write, could be function methods, whatever. If it's of that kind, I cast it over to a literal express syntax, make sure that goes right. In case that fails, I don't do anything. And then I basically pick part that syntax node. So I pick out the actual string value, I pick out the surrounding data around that string value, and I pick out the entire sort of declaration of that string value. And then I use this to sort of be able to know which part of the declaration I want to pick out, apply something to, and then put back in. That's what I do here. I create a random key, which is just a GUID. I encrypt the original string value with that key. I base64 encode it, and then I basically replace the whole string, double quotes string data with this, which is basically runtime runtime decryption of the data. So my string obfuscation is encrypting every string with a random key and then decrypting it on one time. Hey, what's up? And that's the logic I apply for every string throughout the document using this visit override syntax node thing, which exists within the C# syntax rewriter. This is going pretty quick. I'm just, I just have to sort of do this pretty quick. Where were I, right? So I did string obfuscation, and that's fine. And then I sort of stop. So after I did string obfuscation, I sort of go out, and then I have a solution which is string obfuscated and has injected the function needed to do string encryption decryption. And then to be able to properly handle all the variables, methods, and classes, I sort of stop, I pack it back together, and then I unpack it again. Because when I add the method, the solution structure changes. When I encrypt all the strings, replace all the strings with method references, it changes the solution structure. So that's why I sort of stop, and then I start and then I go back into the projects again, into the document, and then I do this. So I created a function which is called obfuscate syntax nodes, which basically takes a project and the document ID that exists within that project, and then I obfuscate some sort of type. So these are all types within Roslin. So Roslin has something called a variable declaration syntax type, a method declaration syntax type, and a class declaration syntax types. Mimicat is native, so no, this only works for C#. Right, so basically I tell it to obfuscate variables, obfuscate methods, and obfuscate a class. So if you take a look at this function, it basically takes the input project, it goes through all the nodes in a quirky way, again, due to how we have to, if we make a change, we have to make sure that the next time we make a change, that change is based on our last change, which sounds ridiculous, but yeah. Anyhow, so basically I go through all the methods or classes or variables, and then I do something called rename symbol async, which is something that is included within Roslin. And this is basically the solution to all the problems we had in part 1 and 2. This will update references across the solution. This is just magic. I don't have to do any hard work anymore. And last stream I complained about it returning me a solution. And I rewatched it and I was like, duh, there's obviously the reason it returns a solution is because I might have changed references across the entire solution. It's pretty obvious, right? So last stream I was pretty rushed and I didn't see this. I realized this now, and I was able to sort of optimize it by this. So yeah, I get a new solution back. I pull the same project out from that solution, the current project, and then I update the working project. So every time I change something with Roslin, I have to take that output and use that as the reference for my next change. So it all blends together. And then, yeah, this is all object typed based, right? So if I give it a method base, if I give it a class variable base, it will just work. So where was that? One more. There we go. When that's done, I just apply changes and it's done. That's it. And it works. That's what's so sick. So I actually tested this before stream. I'm gonna just remove some console write lines here, or this is going to be way more than I asked for. So I'm just gonna hide this method right here, and then this, and then I'm going to comment out this. And I'll just start off by showing you how a seatbelt looks after obfuscation. Hide this, comment down the console write line here, don't need that. Yeah, basically. So I build it, and then I basically inside the debug here, I just give it a solution path, which is seatbelt. And then seatbelt is here, it's open, and it's a clean version of seatbelt. So I'll just run that, and it will ask me for which MS. So it located 2 MS build binaries on my system, so I just have to pick one. There we go, and then it loads the seatbelt solution, and then it starts obfuscating. So I just sort of briefly write on the same line every method I'm handling. I should be doing at least. Yeah, there we go. So these are all the method classes and variables I'm obfuscating. And then when this is done, I go back into the seatbelt solution, and we should see a lot of changes. Shouldn't really be recognizable anymore. Again, the main catch, it's slow. It's not quick at all. Like normal binary C# or any sort of obfuscator really would obfuscate this in like less than a couple of seconds. If you go into Confuser, you can do that with threading, less than a couple of seconds. The main problem is that for each method or variable or class that I update, I have to sort of make sure that those changes are valid for the entire solution. Because if I threaded this, it wouldn't be possible. I mean, I can't have 5 threads updating the same object every time, having to be aware. Because I mean, it could easily just collide if it touches the same method or touches method that references each other or whatever. Yeah, Confused Rex is super fast, right? So I guess the main sort of base around this is that you're able to actually obfuscate the source code, and you're able to, I would say, at least in open source space, this is a pretty lightweight obfuscator. It's pretty easy to like. Right now, I'm obfuscating everything to a GUID, like a GUID without the dashes and starting with an underscore. You could easily change that to whatever if that gets signature detected. If you don't want to do XOR, you can easily implement AES instead, right? Or just base64 code, whatever. It's, yeah, I mean, everything you create doesn't have to have like the largest use case. This was just interesting in terms of getting to know Roslyn. So now it's done. If I go back into seatbelt, it will say like it's updated, and you can see all the changes. So I basically made a change to every class in the entire seatbelt project, pretty much. And yeah, it doesn't really look like much anymore. All obfuscated, right? So I'm super confident. So this is the string decryption. Ah, it's empty. So, but does it compile? It did before stream. Click compile. Yeah, it compiled. Woohoo! So the obfuscator basically works, and I do genuinely think seatbelt is a pretty solid project to test against because it's huge. It has so much logic, like so freaking much. So we might run it against Rubius later and just see, but I'm fairly confident it will work against Rubius as well. And then in the future, we might add, instead of doing these sort of this syntax in terms of what we rename, we could do word lists, combination of word lists. We could do whatever, right? But yeah, so it basically works. So what I'm going to focus on in today's stream is to add input arguments, so the user. Yeah, Docker's right. So for today's stream, we're going to add input arguments so people can choose if they want to do just string obfuscation, class, methods, whatever. Basically a couple of ifs. Then I want to, instead of this, I want it just to show my progress bar. That's just way better. Yeah, Chronic, right. So we'll probably do a Rubius before we end. But yeah, it's basically working. So I'll start off with this progress bar thing because I think it's interesting. So I'll just copy this and then let's say I want a progress bar. So I want to progress bar the whole method obfuscation thing. I just do this and then I have to do report. So it's out of 100, right? So here max value is 100, so it's a double slash. The max value here would be... So how do you define the max value? Is the max value always going to be 100? Sure. Right, so this. So for this it would be int max value equals solution. Sorry, that would be project document IDs. Oh, I can't type like count, right? So that would be the number of documents in the project. So that would be the max value. And then I guess we just, if we want to do percentage, right? Wow, we're doing math now. So I think just dividing it by 100, and then that would be it for each. Oh my god, I'm about to do math on stream. That ain't great. So this is gonna be embarrassing, but who cares? Percentage. Oh my god. Percentage. God damn, it's Sunday, right? There we go. So just divided by 100, right? If I recall correctly. Keep in mind, I took engineering's math, so I have a good reason to not recall any of this. I was so freaking tired of it. So I think if you just divide it by 100, we could use that value for each time. Can't you just overload it for the max value? Wouldn't that be much easier? Yeah, right. So what does that look like? Let's reset the sequence value. Yeah, so I should probably remove the console right line in here then. I want to see that. We could just... Yeah, we could just hide all of that. That was something I did earlier to print everything pretty nicely on one line. Moth is generally my kryptonite. Heads up. Yeah, I mean... Oh, that isn't... Is that accurate? I actually think that's accurate. Yeah. I did it first try. Look at me, mom. I think? Or no? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, I struggled hard though to do engineering math, and once I did it, I was like, yeah, I'm done. Bye bye. Not touching this again ever. Oh yeah, no, it wasn't correct. It wasn't correct. No, obviously you have to. Lord, I'm such an idiot. You have to. You have to divide it by its max value and then 100, I think. Because let's say it's 3,000, you divide it by 3,000, that's 1, and then you want 100 because you want percentage, or no. Maybe you don't have to do 100. Ah, you don't have to do 100 then. It's just this. And then why do I cost it again? That's to get the proper value, so I can do both then. Let's see how that looks. I'll just reset it. It's a Sunday as well, right? So my brain has been sleeping all weekend and I have to do stuff. Not okay. Oh, I think I forgot to open the solution. So Seatbelt has this. Seatbelt is made in a really low version of .NET, so sometimes when you open it, you have to like accept the upgrade to another framework. So this is probably more accurate. It should be. You're dividing it per this. I should divide it by another 100. Yeah, because that's the max value. Yeah, I should divide it by another 100. Yeah, divide it by another 100. Gotcha. 100%. 100%. Let's reset that. We build this. Damn. Math, man. I think once I don't really, I can't say I recall it correctly, but like once you're doing like engineering math or way more difficult math, it becomes, in my mind, it becomes less difficult because you're doing almost more sort of programming and rules, and you know what I mean? It's less of actual, you, right? Yeah, maybe it's just me. So this can't be right because I can't recall it taking this long. It's probably correct though. Oh, maybe it's times. But they saying right. Screw this. I'll do that later. Let's do the arguments instead. Okay, so we need to do input arguments, right? So I would probably want to have like dash dash strings and then dash dash methods to do different stuff. So I'll start off by declaring a bunch of bools. So bool obfu methods equals true, or I guess false would be the correct way. And then obfu strings, obfu classes, and then obfu variables, bars. And then if args select below. I like to make it in case sensitive, just in case people like, yeah, you know, contains dash dash methods, obfu methods equals true. Thank you. Oh, so I did times 100 though? Sure. Vars. So obfus vars, classes, and obfus strings. Right, so strings, methods, classes, and vars, we have all those. And if all of them are false, meaning you didn't give it an input argument, you only gave it solution, then it's everything, basically. Oh my god. So if all 4 of them are false, you want to do every one of them, basically. And then if args count equals 0, you just want to print the help menu, or you want to do this. And then the solution path would be args. So there we go. If we have 0, then that, and then if not, we'll try to take the first argument as a path. So basically, you just gotta make sure that the first argument is the path. So we'll do this. Oh. And then I like to include some examples. So would be RosFuscator Awesome. Okay, so we get that sorted. And then I need to apply these. So let's do, so if it's a method, if obfus method, if obfus, oh my god. So these are only in the, oh wow. So instead of doing that, we'll do this. We'll avoid that. We'll just do, so if that is the case, we'll do environment exit and then 0. And then obfus class, right? And then method, or variables, I should say. Obfus variables. And then I gotta do strings. So I think that's this whole part. So that's strings, and that's the injection for the strings. So we'll do and oops, that obfus strings. let's see if that works. Let me reset seatbelt, and then I'll go back into RosFuscator bin debug. Yes, I also had some RosFuscator. Did I write TXT? No way. What? I wrote TXT. What? That is genuinely badly amazing. So let's say I do this, and then I only want to do strings because that's pretty quick. Select one. Should be done in like no time. Compared to at least the other ones. It's done. Let's check seatbelt. Now we can see that all the strings are obfuscated. Does it still compile? And it still compiles. God damn it. That's amazing. Way to go to give myself credit for stuff though. But yeah. So that just injects the XOR encode decode and references that everywhere it strings, just decodes them. So if I run it, you should see the help menu just run by real quick. Yeah, works. And let's say I only want to do methods. Let's do methods. Actually, let's do classes. Let's try that. Classes, is that the trigger for it? Oops. I just want to see if I can like run it multiple times. Yeah, classes. And then that's my fantastic non-working progress bar at the time. But yeah, I want to try it. I want to try it against a couple of other solutions as well before I push it, just to be, because there gotta be more edge cases to this. There we go. Now I added methods. So if I, there we go. I mean classes. Look at that. Classes are obfuscated. Does it still compile? And it compiles. Wow. Okay, it works. It freaking works. +1. I love it. That's great. So it works. Great. That's sort of a prerequisite to continue on stuff. That works. I fixed the TXT stuff. Let's go back to the progress bar. So you're saying Mr. Chronicle, who is apparently way better at math than me, at least on stream, is saying I should do value divided by max value. So that's the counter value divided by max value, and then times 100. So let's try that with methods, only methods, and then I'll reset it. I'll go into it to make sure it's reset. So it's gonna ask me to reload. Awesome, I'll give it a build, and then I'll do methods. Gotta be something wrong with this. Yeah, that didn't quite work out. So maybe it's the other way around. No, maybe I just need to double it all up. If you're having issues with numbers, just keep casting stuff. That always works. Always. Oh, I gotta reset now. Did that work? No? Numbers is so fucking backwards sometimes in C#. Actually, let's debug this just to see what's going on here. So I like to, when I debug stuff, I like to take the arguments I was giving it, and then at the top, I like to go like args equals strings. sorry, this value right here, and then split it on space to sort of kind of sort of simulate what the input value would be. Did I put a breakpoint? I can't recall. Got it. Oh, got it. Do the enter bug. Okay. Probably because of this. Oh yeah, that. Oh. So the document count is 155. So if I want to find 1% of 155, that would be divided by 100. And then I would use that value. Okay, gotcha. So I'm doing this all wrong, basically. So 1 Hertz. Or yeah, I think I know what I'm doing right now. I think I'm just doing it way more stupid than I initially was going to do it. Take my word though. Okay, so I need to declare this as a double, or it won't work. There we go. 155, and then it should be like 3, 2. Oh yeah, then I need to divide this by 100, and I need to double that. Got it. That should do the trick. I think it should do the trick at least. Let's see. There we go. That looks better, I think. No? Jesus, how hard can this be? Zero. I agree with 0. I agree with that as well. I mean, that's reported as 0 almost. That should be reported as like... Oh, I think I should only do 10 maybe. Yeah, I should only do 10. I bet people in the... Yeah, what's the next project? I don't know. Any suggestions? I literally have no idea. So I think as of right now, so if I was doing editing and stuff, I think maybe having like series like this one would be good. Why does it suddenly jump to 100? Like what? Cold caves. So I was at least planning on doing something that maybe is achievable within one stream. Okay, gotcha. Right, like the sharp mini library and stuff. Yeah, I saw the recent AMSI stuff by or I think it was both XPN, over Trusted Sec with me, as well as God, I can't recall his Twitter handle. Played with basically hooking how assembly load works to avoid AMSI, sort of spoofing that you're actually running assembly load on the file while you're in reality loading assembly load in a byte array in memory. That would be cool exploring. Not a huge memory guy though. I do know some stuff, but not a huge like Win API guy at all. But that would definitely hit the sweet spot in terms of views. I totally agree with that. I know. I should just cast that to int, like somebody in chat said. What happens if I do that? Like this? Oh, I commented out progress support. I was like waiting for progress support. I was like, what? Other projects I could do. A good freaking question. So there is a couple of existing C# projects that I would love to combine. So there's like something called Sarenzai, which basically searches through typical file formats for data, like Excel documents, Word documents, and then you have something called SharpShares, who refines open file shares on the network. Combining those two could be interesting. So you could have it going through all readable file shares that your user can read, and then just pulling documents with a keyword in it. It would be super sort of noisy and messy, but in terms of a pen test, that isn't really, at least towards the end, it isn't really usually a main issue. So I'm really close to just saying fuck progress bars, because this is it. Oh, is it because I'm using a new progress bar each time? Am I that stupid? It's probably because I'm using a new progress bar each time. Yeah. Oh, oops. What I've been doing this weekend. How many brain cells did I kill this weekend? That's the question. Might be actually because of that. Now it gives 1, right? So I'm guessing if I go back into doing this, then that will probably be fine. I think getting into memory will be interesting if you're working pen tests. It's a bit of hassle to start out with. It's really invaluable once you have to have the knowledge, right? So I really admire people like Adam Sandler or XPN, who sort of sits out the long runs, sort of tracking down all the API calls behind built in. Like he was playing with what's it called, CLR, the basically the everything, well, runs.net. He was playing with recently. I can bring it up actually. So TrustedSec. So head over to trustedsec.com. He recently blogged about CLR. So I think it's no. Oh, it wasn't in regards to his. Oh, that's me. Most read. It actually wasn't in related to TrustedSec. He released it on his own blog. Why am I zooming in? There we go. This. He basically traced down everything and managed to in short terms, yeah, managed to recreate how C# does the loading in sort of native C#, I guess. It's really cool. Should give it a read. Leave it here. But you know what? Progress bars? Not gonna spend any more time on that. Break that. Progress bars 1, Melvin 0. Instead, I'll do the console right thing. Yeah. Did I say Adam Sandler? I probably did though. Because that's the guy from Mythbusters, right? I am so... No, that's not the guy from Mythbusters. Oh, that's the guy, the almighty guy, Jesus. Oh my god, I'm so off today. Oh my god, everybody's an Adam. If you're an Adam, you're one Adam. Jesus. This is a comedy at this point. God damn it. So many Adams. This is not okay. Nobody talk about this. This never happened. I never confused Adam Sandler with Adam Savage because I thought XPN was Adam Sandler because XPN is Adam Chester. God damn it. So many Adams. I can't keep track of them all. So many amazing Adams. God damn it. Okay, but that's great. So let's try this against Rubius or some other project. Chester the Adam. Anybody got a suggestion of a C# project we should try to? I guess Rubius is fair because it's so well known, and I know Chronicle is gonna take this Git repo and test it anyhow. So we could try Rubius. Let's see. Copy as path. Compile. And we're gonna do everything towards it. We're gonna do absolutely everything. I'm not gonna start off with strings or anything. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it all. So let me bring up Rubius first. See that it's compiles and stuff. Sharpound. Yeah, that's another major one for sure. We should totally do Sharpound. Are you planning to move to the US or are you comfy in Scandinavia? So I am totally comfy here in Norway. You know, I have family, fiance and stuff here. So, but I could see myself moving to the US for like a short period of time. So maybe like a couple of years. But not permanently. No, I mean, Yeah. So it works. Covenant. I guess if I pull out the source code for the beacon, I could do it, but the beacon itself isn't really that big. So, but yeah, we could do it for fun. So let's try Rubius, see what happens. Oops. No, I'm doing seatbelt again because I hard-coded arguments. Where's the arguments I hard-coded? Debug, one failed. The counter is not in the correct context. There we go. That's why. So let's try again. Rubius, 1. So it at least read the solution. Let's see what happens. Congrats on the engagement. Oh, engagement. Wow. Lol. I was thinking engagement as in, you know, a pen test. I was like, what engagement? I didn't even connect the dots. Thank you so much. Thank you. when your brain is so work related that your words have different meanings and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. Been together since like 10 years. Been together since 16 basically. So everybody has been sort of pulling my leg about it to propose, and we don't really care that much. Yeah, my brain is yeah, I know. I'm sorry. So sorry. I should be on point when I stream. Today has been, thank God this solution is basically done. I didn't have to do as much. I couldn't even make a fucking progress bar today. Thank you. And next stream, I have to get the chat in here because I mean, if you're watching this on YouTube, sorry, and you don't see the chat, it's going to be super annoying. So I have to get the chat in here somewhere. So I think I can add the chat box, but I didn't want it to be see-through. So yeah, there we go. Yeah, today has been a solid brain fart for sure. So it's working. There is apparently a lot of methods in Rubius. Shocking to nobody. Oh my god, I have to tell XPN that I confused him with Adam Savage, and then I confused Adam Savage with fucking Adam Sandler. Or the other way around. I have to. He's gonna laugh his ass off. He should have been here for that. That was amazing. Me, did you see Adam Sandler's new blog post? Everybody, wait, what? Did he say Adam Sandler? God damn it. Oh. Wow, how many methods are in Rubius? Apparently quite a few. Damn, this is so slow. This is pipeline timeout kind of slow. Not sure what I can do about it though. I can't thread it because it has to apply the changes dynamically as it goes. So I'm in the VM though. I'm in the VM, so my VM is not pretty. It's not like super quick. But then again, your pipeline won't have like, or it might have 20 gigs of resources, but probably doesn't. There we go. It worked. Okay. Okay. So everybody place your bets. Do you think Rubius is gonna bork, or do you think Rubius is gonna compile? Place your bets, people. Place your bets. Files have definitely changed. Do you think Rubius is gonna compile, people? What do you think? You think it's gonna compile? Well, I don't. This is interesting. Let's see. Only one thing. No, wait, that worked. No, only one thing, and it's because of an override, right? Only one thing. If that is the only thing, that's pretty sick. class inherits from comparator. The file method does not implement interface comparator. Oh, there's definitely more in here. Program does not exist. There's definitely more in here. I think RubyOS is just such a huge project. Where did you see 118? Oh, there we go. I didn't see it. I was looking at this. Yeah, only one. 118, huh? God damn it. So it can't find the reference to program, which is a bit of a, which is actually, I mean, it has also something to do with the way it, like which document it gets first. Because program, no, it's because of the using. It doesn't have a reference to it. Because this is its own namespace. Well, that's reducing, but so the main issues here are actually okay. So the main issues here is actually this one file. This one file right here has a million issues. What is this file? Do we need this file? ASN1, what is that? Everything sort of originates from this. And it isn't called external curve. So that's the issue here, is that since this class didn't have any current references to program, but it basically these two should be renamed to match this, right? But since Roslyn couldn't find a previous connection, it had issues doing that. Like, that's my first thought. So there is one sketchy way of fixing this. We could do this, and then we could do rename everything program XOR encode decrypt. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's something else. I'm looking for this. No, looking for this. That works. Now we're down to 19. And now it's having problem referencing ASA and exception, because that's another subclass that we renamed and that Roslyn didn't get. That probably fixes, like, yeah, now we're down to 1. Yeah, now we're actually down to 1. So what's the problem here? Does not implement the interface. Yeah, because this is supposed to be... Did we rename something again? So it's complaining about it doesn't implement a compare function, which is probably this. Yeah. Again, this is something. Yeah, it's way more, as you say. It takes time to load. So it didn't catch this reference all over the place. Damn, there's so much stuff. People fake streaming, professional players and stuff. There's so much sketchy stuff going on freaking Twitch right now that they allow. It's insane. So again, here's problems with like subclasses in Rubius that doesn't use part of the main stuff. Probably because it was intended to be like a library. And I have to somehow find out if the classes are using their main classes, and then I have to fix that. So for Roslyn to work properly, I have to sort of... I did that. Probably botted. I mean, that's a lot of botted use, though. I could try to fix this in like a really sketchy way. But it would... Yeah. What's the issue here? So it can't find reg. Reg is supposed to be probably in here somewhere, and it's supposed to take multiple parameters. Again, ASN exception. We had that one that isn't called ASN exception no more. It's called this. Right. And then reg. Probably because it's somewhere here. Domain. Where can I find reg? Obviously, reg has been... no, I want to replace it. I want to find it. That ain't gonna work. So the thing is, I don't know what reg has been renamed to. But yeah, so there's a couple of like dirty tricks that we can implement to fix this. One would be to make sure that every class either has the XOR encode function itself, and that would solve a lot of it, because then there won't be any subclass references. But the main issues here is like in, say, in this case, compare is a function this class has to implement because it inherits from an interface that says it has to have it. How is Roslyn, or how am I going to know that I can't rename this because of this? How am I going to know that this is a function that is referenced in the interface? So there are, I mean, I'm not going to continue doing more episodes on this because I want to switch subject, but I might look into finding out if I can do this, because in the RosFuscator, say, so that would be the method one. Obviously, it's the same function. I have this model right here, or this target symbol right here, which can tell me a lot about the method I'm trying to rename or change. So I can check the accessibility, I can check the syntax references, I can check the yeah, I can check a lot of stuff basically. So if I can find some sort of reference for this and it being implemented due to it inheriting an interface, that would be the best way. So the original definition. So original definition might be something that I want to. All right. So I want to make sure that it is the original definition. So I think I would have to. The way I have to approach this is that I KV some sort. So I think I have to. Oh, that's another symbol. Okay, so I think my approach would be to create like a test project where I implement something from the interface and then look at all the sort of the triggers or all the properties in target symbol and see if I can find some sort of property that would uniquely identify that and that would apply. So it could be a quick fix. Not going to go into it now. But yeah, so again, I just have to revert this, find out what reg is, and then again add a reference to it to make sure that Rostam works. But I mean, it works for seatbelt, and I think I'm going to continue to work at it, but not live. And I think if you do want this to work for something specific, go into it, and you could either way at least make some. If you have to make some minor manual modifications afterwards to get it to work, then at least it's some progress, right? But yeah, I think I'm going to push this. That's the that is the goal for today. Come on. Actually, don't need to push the bin. Oh, come on, what is going on? There we go, git comment. Oh my god, what is going on? Thank you. Final release, or first beta release. Semi-working. I'm gonna push this, and then I'm gonna try Sharp Pound for shits and giggles. Oh no, has it changed? Can't I force this? Force push override? There we go. How large is this freaking? Yeah, there's a heads up, there's a bitch ton of dependencies. Like a metric ton of dependencies to get this to work. So yeah. Let's try Sharpound. I think yeah, GitHub Sharpound 3. So let's try that. This is the main, and we go. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, 2 times. Boom. Oh, it's not there because I removed it when I pushed it. There we go. Let's see what happens to Sharpound. So this should be out on my GitHub repo right now. I'll link it in chat for you. Also, another interesting escalation. I don't know if you saw this, but a good friend of mine called Martin, who runs his own security company here in Norway, decided to port Amsifel over to JavaScript so we could run it off as a Cloudflare worker, which is free. I can get like 100,000 requests a day, and it's still free, which is a lot less than $700 a year or a month. No, sorry, $700 a year or something for me to host Amsifel on Azure. So I haven't released that yet. I'm going to give it a couple of more testing and stuff to make sure it actually works before I switch over to it. But yeah, so we're making progress in that sense. So let's try Sharphound. Let's see how hard we broke Sharphound, basically. But yeah, if you guys have any suggestions for topics, note that the memory stuff is noted. I'll see if I can find some interesting use cases for sharp mini hook or sharp, what's it called, hook lib, mini lib, something like that. And let's see if this compiles. Nope. There is no way. Or what's going on here? So, not sure if it's getting the dependencies or what's going on, because this using system shouldn't be bad, so. $364 errors, huh? Don't really see what's wrong here though. Why is using system wrong? System could not be found. Yeah, this is a weird issue. I'll reopen. Might be because I didn't open it before I tried to obfuscate it. Visual Studio can be a bitch sometimes. One failed, so how many errors again? Program does not exist in this context. Again, we're having problems with cross references. 59, right? So we're having issues with, oh, this should not be this. That doesn't work at all. So this is some sort of edge case I have to fix for options. These strings can't be obfuscated. That won't work. They have to be sort of read-only. Yeah, they can't be. This doesn't work, if I recall correctly. Let's go. Where's program? There's no program? That would be this. Yeah, they have to be a constant, so they can't be. So the strings can't be encrypted and decrypted on one time. So again, I need to go into RosFuscator and I need to update these bad types to make sure that this isn't the syntax kind that I want to obfuscate. Again, stuff you sort of have to go through. But yeah, I think I'm not going to. I don't want to continue the series anymore. I want to switch subject. I think 4 or this is the 5th part. I think, right, is going to be more than enough. And I want to switch subject. So yeah. Again, the repo is on GitHub. If you, there's definitely some improvements to be made. So if you're bored one day, feel free to pull and add some functionality and add some edge cases for a lot of these bigger C# projects. For the smaller C# projects, I don't see this being an issue. I tried both newly released SharpNode PSexec and SharpSecDump, and these are, much smaller projects than both Seatbelt, SharpRand, and Rubius. And those worked fine because they don't have, 1,500 classes or whatever. That's maybe a bit of a stretch, but they have a lot of classes. Yeah. But yeah, awesome. I think that's going to be it for today. Technically, yeah. I'll update the README though. Gonna do that off stream, or I guess technically. Awesome, thanks, man. To be a constant. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, feel free to do that. I'm trying to grow it as much as possible. We really appreciate that. Yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining in. Really appreciate it. I'll see you next Sunday, same time. Again, not sure yet what I'm going to be touching upon. I'll figure it out sometimes during the week. Usually, I do get some suggestions from some clever folks. One suggestion that I did get is that I maybe should play around with some memory stuff. So I know that recently somebody released Sharp Minilib or something along those lines. Sharp Minilib. It isn't called Sharp Minilib, obviously. I just have to find it. I probably started. Let's see what it's called. Minihook.net by Cobb. Might look into using something like that and doing something interesting. That could be cool for sure. Meanwhile, talk to you later, guys. Thank you for joining in. Have a great work week, right? Monday tomorrow. Whoop whoop. Can't wait. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday wherever you are. Thank you so much for joining in. Peace out.